Now, tensions simmer in South China Sea as China has decided to continue its military exercises in the Taiwan Strait after U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit last week to Taiwan. Now, what could be viewed as retaliation to China's constant aggression, Taiwan too has started its live-fire artillery drill. The island, which Beijing considers a part of its own territory, is said to be simulating a defense against an attack after days of massive Chinese military exercises. The drills being carried out in the southern county Pingtung were confirmed by the Taiwanese army. The drills scheduled for today and Thursday alike will include deployment of hundreds of troops and about 40 howitzers. However, Taiwan has said that the exercises are not being held in response to China's move and that they were scheduled previously.
China has used the drills in its military playbook to prepare for the invasion of Taiwan. It is conducting large-scale military exercises and missile launches, as well as cyber attacks, disinformation campaign, and economic coercion in an attempt to weaken public morale in Taiwan.
Now, for more on this, our correspondent Patrick Folk is joining us live from Beijing. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us. Now, with Taiwan and China both conducting live fire drills, what is the risk assessment in the Taiwan Strait and the area surrounding?
Well, there's nothing to suggest that there was any more risk of confrontation between the two sides, although reports have said that there are around 20 vessels that are maneuvering around the median line, and that Chinese vessels in particular have been pushing the line while the Taiwanese Navy were trying to maneuver around them and monitor the situation. But, you know, the thing is that this sort of continuation of drills really has
Now, tensions simmer in South China Sea. This is China has decided to now continue with its military exercises in the Taiwan Strait. This after the United States House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan last week amid dire warnings from China against this visit. Now, what could be viewed as a retaliation to China's constant aggression, Taiwan has started its live-fire artillery drill. Now, it is said to be simulating defense against an attack after days of massive Chinese military exercises. These drills being carried out in the southern county were confirmed by the Taiwanese army and is scheduled for today and Thursday. Will also include deployment of hundreds of troops and about 40 howitzers. Let's just go across to our correspondent Patrick Folk joining us from Beijing right now. Patrick, thank you for staying on with us. You were talking about the risk assessment in the Taiwan Strait.
Well, there was nothing to suggest that there was any further risk of confrontation as such, although reports have said that there were around 20 ships that were sailing around the median line, and that Chinese vessels in particular had been pushing the median line while the Taiwanese Navy was maneuvering and monitoring the situation. But certainly this has created a lot of uncertainty moving forward. The Chinese military, again announcing that the Navy and Air Force would continue to conduct drills in the airspace and water around Taiwan without giving any specific timeline for when all of this might end. And that, as I say, creates concern and uncertainty, not least for airlines and ships sailing through those waters. As we know, half the world's container ships sail through the Taiwan Strait, so it is a strategically very, very important route.
Right, absolutely. Also, Beijing is withdrawn from key talks on climate and defense. This has again, of course, caused a global outrage. What is the reason for this, and how long do we see this continuing?
Well, I mean, China has said that this is all about trust breaking down with the US, and said that the US must be held responsible, and said that, you know, the only way to walk back from this crisis is to correct its mistakes. And, you know, this is also coming at a time when Beijing has come on the end of a lot of criticism over its action towards Taiwan. So, you know, it's trying to frame it in a different narrative and show it from the Chinese perspective, and, you know, make it seem as though it is the victim in all of what's happening with the way that the US has acted with Pelosi's visit. But, you know, in many ways, this narrative kind of says that, you know, because the US has crossed China's bottom line, it allows Beijing to act in any way that it wants over Taiwan.
All right. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for bringing us all the latest on this. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.